Back for the second session today in the product track. I'm very happy to introduce you Alessia Camera, who's head of growth at TaxFix and actually a fellow Italian living in Italy, but for foreign companies. Hello, Alessia.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy and so honored to be here.
Thanks for joining us. And I'll just load your slides and shut up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Massimo. As said, like I'm in Milan actually, so I think that I'm one of the few Italians actually like from outside the US in this event. But I see that we have a lot of things in common because I'm gonna talk about product-led tactics. And I was actually like following the speech before, and I think that there's gonna be like a very nice path around how marketing, sales, and product teams can all work together to be more efficient and basically create a better product for the customers. So, but before kicking off, just a couple of words about me. So this speech is about TaxFix, the company I work for. Is a Berlin-based company that is working on a product for taxes, which are not like the most amazing and funny product or funny topic in the world. But what we are trying to do, we are trying to help people make it at least less painful. Something about me, I do like pizza. I don't like pizza with pineapples, like all Italians. So if you really want to be my friend, don't say when you're gonna have pizza with pineapples, because that's really painful for us Italians. We know that all the words have different tastes. I accept that. I kind of understand that. But yeah, just prefer don't know where you're going to eat a pizza with pineapples. Anyway, so let's kick off. My experience, I've led quite a lot of marketing teams. And when we were working on B2B acquisition strategies, I realized that there was a lot of mismatch or ways where we were kind of wanting to achieve the same goals, but it was very tricky to make both teams working together. And that difficulties was actually like growing up where we were all working on a digital product, because the product side was basically giving another layer of complication on that equation. So what I realized is that in general, people think that marketing is the one responsible for acquisition strategy or lead generation strategies. We're talking about B2B. And that is actually like what the team is feeling responsibility for and what are other teams' expectation about. So marketing is going to be about making sure that traffic is coming through, and then we have leads getting into the landing pages. And then a lot of the times, like they don't know how and when, but this is more or less the expectation. So what happened when the lead are getting there, and people basically are signing up to the demo, to the landing page. These leads are actually collected and managed by the sales people. And when an email is popping up, I'm generally like thinking about sales people say, oh, this is mine. So this is not more traffic. This is actually like one person that is really interested about this product that we are offering, or the offer that we are actually getting. And from that point, the sales team is actually like really thinking about transforming that lead into money. So spending a lot of time on understanding how to do that transformation. So for example, scheduling calls, gathering feedback on the product. The hope is basically getting that lead into a conversion, into a paying customer. But the way the marketing and sales are working on achieving this is not really in a team way, is not really in a connected way. As I said, marketing is the one that is generally like pushing traffic to the website, and sales is the one where responsibility and expectation is transformed that leads into a contract or into a paying customer. So what I'm starting to think about is that, okay, so landing pages is the way where everyone is in the world is actually using as a way to do that, to do this process. But as we heard before, why do we think about marketing and sales? We don't think about this as a whole process that is actually like putting marketing and sales and product also together to really like make sure that customers are engaged and leads are coming, but also the transformation of leads into customers in a way that is really effective. Because I realized that there are some problems, and this process is actually broken. So a lot of the leads that we are pushing, that the marketing team is pushing, and is actually like pushing people to register. So that lead generally like is people that they're not sure that they have understood about your product. So you perhaps think that these people actually read the landing page, read the content, understand a little bit about the product. But in general, from my experience, you never know. And in majority of the cases, those people don't have read a word. And so that's very tricky, because when sales are taking that lead, they think that these people are actually interested, and they're taking a little bit into thinking that their job is actually to transform that lead into a paying customer. But again, this process can be very tricky, because it's not as linear as we are thinking in reality. In reality, it's very different. Like in theory, yes, we think that this is coming through how we read it in books, how we read it, you know, like everyone is thinking about this. But in reality, this is not really working. And so when sales are collecting those leads, they're spending a lot of time on doing demos, a lot of calls, a lot of email send, a lot of messages on LinkedIn, because like majority of the cases, people that are leaving their email address maybe are not interested, or maybe they're just leaving the address for a lot of different reasons that we are not really sure of gathering as a motivation. So from my experience at TaxWeeks, we were asking this question, say, why don't we create a product-driven self-serving experience? So we are putting product as the core of the experience, and is basically putting product as in the center of this lever that is combining together marketing and sales to really like make sure that we attract the companies and we are getting leads of people that are really interested about what we are offering. As said, we are talking about taxes. We're not talking about a super amazing product. So for us, like making sure that these people were interested in what we were offering was basically the most important part. So what we've done, we created this landing page, and we were A/B testing like a general, normal landing page for lead acquisition against a product-led landing page where people could actually play a little bit with the product, understand how it was working, and really like push them into really thinking whether they wanted to try it out for their company. So we were kind of pushing our leads to experience the product. How we wanted to do that, and why we wanted to do that. So we really wanted to show people, because taxes in digital taxes, let's say, it's a very, very new topic for Europe, even in Italy, but even in Germany. Really wanted to show people how to use the product and really like understand the value, the competitive advantage they could get by you doing the taxes in an app instead of doing through an accountant. Through this experience, we were sure that people were getting more curious. They were really getting into, oh, you hooked me. I can really do my taxes through an app, through a product. And we realized that companies that were basically signing up through the demo and through this B testing were really like more interested. Like we were getting like people that were already hot, not people hot, hot lead that were already, so like people were already curious and leads were already hot, and then our sales team didn't have to spend like endless time into doing demos and showing how the product was working, and realized that this psychological value that is called IKEA effect. That means that when people are spending so much time with the product, they are actually like more interested because this time that they spend engaging with the product is actually what is driving them to use it even more. So the key takeaway is tell me and I forgot, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. And this is actually like what we learn also in taxes. So people really like want to understand how to use it, really want to ask questions, really want to read content. This is about their overall experience. So this B testing that you was really pushed by Proda was really like giving us much better result, much more curiosity, and much more interested companies that ended up become paying customers for TaxFix. And I think that's it.
And I was muted. Awesome, Alessia. Thank you. That was super insightful, and I love how it connects perfectly with the previous session, because in the end, I think one of the biggest problems is really about breaking down silos, whatever it's marketing and product and sales, marketing and sales. That's the biggest challenge, and we experience very often, marketing says sales is not closing enough leads, sales saying marketing is generating bad leads, and so on. And overall, the PLG approach, product-led growth, makes a lot of sense. And in the end, I think you always have customers that prefer a different approach. I don't like speaking with sales. I prefer to play with a product. Other people prefer a sales-driven demo. I think it's really about letting the potential customer pick their favorite path.
Yeah, so, exactly. Totally agree.
If someone has any question, please write them in the chat. In the meanwhile, I have a question for you, Alessia. One thing that I find extremely challenging in a PLG scenario is that some products, like breadcrumbs, for example, where we need connection with third parties, I get you have the same problem, because it's not like, oh, I'm just going to sign up and upload all my tax record to see how it works. Some products have a challenging activation. So how do you solve that problem? You provide sandbox data, you just expose a small feature of a product. Have you tested what did work well for you?
Yeah, so that's actually like a lot of the challenges around B2B products is around the product is so complex that it's very tricky, like creating a functional demo that is allowing people to actually try out the experience themselves. So I think that there are a couple of approaches here. So either you are trying to provide an experience that is self enough and is maybe like one or two features that can be implemented, and maybe like they're not full functioning of the product, but is basically the minimum value for the customers to understand how it works. And it's also, for example, like an approach that Amplitude used it when they were actually like using the self-serves at the beginning. So not really allowing the people to basically experience the full functioning product, just maybe like a portion of it. And the most important part is that it's actually like giving out value. I think that it's really like about finding what the customer would like to do in a way that is good enough for them to really experience and understand the product. And another approach that is also working can be like about videos, or really like about maybe like other features that can be more approachable. So maybe like a feature that is not like it's not really representing the product, but it's just allowing people to understand how to use it and the curiosity around it. Because the main part is really like letting people try out the experience, push on the curiosity and the value that they can get on the product. It doesn't need to be like experience the full product. I think that is really is really like about understand your customer, understand the expectation, understand the experience that they would like to get, and then play with what you can actually provide.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, Alessia. And we have Michael asking, do you think that product-led applies for a service company that doesn't own a product but build product for others as a product agency?
This is a very good question. So in my experience, I haven't seen this approach working for agencies kind of business model, because especially like when the product that you provide to other companies are really kind of complex and are really different from what is exists, that's very tricky to push it out as a kind of a white label or a SaaS model. So that can be very complex. In these cases, I also think that there's not the curiosity around use it. So people are not really thinking about, oh, I want to use it because I want to make sure I can actually trust this company to develop my product with them. I think that is more, you want to understand the level and the quality. So maybe in this case, can be a video, can be a demo, can be maybe good enough to really show your expertise. Because product-led growth is more about when you have you have a product, you have a software, you have something, and people need to experience in order to understand whether the value they can get is there, the curiosity is there, the experience they want to get is there. So I think there are maybe like two different models.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alessia.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And we'll catch up for a coffee.
Yeah, let's do that. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. And we'll be back in 4 minutes. Ciao, Alessia.
Ciao.